Let me guess, you clicked on this video because you've been walking on eggshells and you have absolutely no idea what's going on. You don't know what has happened, but all you know is you are definitely getting mixed signs from this person. One minute they like you, one minute they don't. One minute they're nice to you, one minute they're not. You're exhausted, you're drained, you're confused. What is going on? We were okay and now we're not. And this up and down, all over the place relationship is really starting to get to you, and you're honestly just looking for answers and clarity. First thing I'm going to tell you is you are in the abusive cycle. You are in the 5 stages of manipulation. You probably didn't know it. You're going to feel exhausted. You're going to feel guilty even though you did nothing wrong. You're going to end up doing things for them that you didn't want to do because you felt obligated, because that people pleaser is coming through, because that codependency is taking over. There are 5 stages of manipulation. Sometimes you get stuck in one phase for a really, really long time, and other times you can just bump right through all 5 of them really quickly. The first stage is what I like to call the appeal phase. This is where they kind of butter you up. So they've either studied you, they've known you forever, so they know what to do, they know what to say in order to make you feel good about yourself. Now, this is really important because this is the high that you're getting when you're around this person. There's something that you feel, there is a good feeling that you feel when you're around this person, and it's because they're grooming you to feel that way. We all get highs from being in relationships because you should feel good in a relationship, but what's important to know is what happens after that high. So usually in a healthy relationship, what happens after that high is, first off, the high kind of isn't like a high and a low. It's just like a very steady pace of like always feeling good in the relationship. Sometimes you might feel a little bit better, sometimes you might dip a little bit low, but you're not going to like these up and downs. So the consistency in a healthy relationship is there. In an unhealthy relationship, the consistency is nowhere to be found. As you're experiencing these really high highs, and let me just make a side note, you can only experience really highs when you have a void. So when you have a wound, when you have an insecurity, when you have something inside of you that's just like lack, and this person is filling that void, because remember, they know you, they know your insecurities, they know your past, they know your stuff, and so they know how to fill that void. They know exactly what to put in that void so you will feel the best. That is when you are giving this person way too much power than they should probably have. And this is something that you're not consciously doing because you have a void and you haven't taken you don't know what the void is. You haven't taken responsibility for the void, and you're not feeding, healing, or dealing with that void. You're making someone else responsible for it. That's why when that person gives you something in this appeal phase, in this buttering up phase, it feels amazing to you. Because remember, in a healthy relationship, you're still going to get highs. You're still going to feel good in the relationship, but you're not going to be on this like really high whirlwind and then all of a sudden experience like a really low. So let's go back. You have a void. This person is filling it. You're getting a high. What that person is doing by giving you those highs and by you really loving those highs and kind of feeding off of those highs like a drug is you are becoming programmed. You're becoming programmed to trust them. You're beginning to trust what they say, what they think you should do, that they could never in a million years hurt you in any way, shape, or form. You're also starting to formulate, because of your own insecurities and because of projection, because of this fantasy relationship or situation that you want to have, you are projecting who you want this person to be, which means you're assuming by this high that you're getting that this person is a good person, that this person is a giver, when actually you're being groomed by a taker. An unhealthy taker can only ever really groom a wounded giver. A healthy giver will not be attracted to a taker. A taker will know that nothing that they're doing is working on a healthy giver, meaning there's standards, there's boundaries, there's limits, I'm not just going to give all the time and do all the time. I have a sense of self. I know who I am. I have standards. I have boundaries. So someone who is manipulative, a taker, whether they are narcissistic or not, doesn't really matter. That type of unhealthy person is not attracted to a healthy person. The appeal phase can last days, it can last weeks, months, or even years. It will last until this person starts falling into the next phase, which is the bully phase. This is where they really start to push their own agenda on you, their wants, their needs, their concerns. And they can only do this once they know they have kind of like hooked you and you really trust them in a way that they know they can start pushing and that you'll actually conform and give them what it is that they need. This is where you're witnessing the taker starting to come through. So they're going to start pushing their wants, needs, and concerns, their own agenda on you. As they do this, they're starting to gauge, how far can I go? What can I ask of this person before I start seeing their limitations? Because even an unhealthy giver does have limitations on what they will and will not do. They're just trying to see where that line is so they know how far they can actually go. Most unhealthy givers, most people in general, are oblivious to this phase. They are oblivious that they were in the appeal phase. They are oblivious that they're in the bullying, pushing, relentless phase. And if you mix in having poor boundaries, now you're really going to start feeling completely drained and exhausted, which is maybe where you feel right now. How they go about kind of pushing their agenda is different. This is where, like, okay, well, what is really the tactic that this person is using? Some people are super nice, and so they kind of go back to that like appeal phase, and they kind of tiptoe between appeal phase and bullying and pushing their agenda. Some people are just downright nasty. It really depends on what this person has learned to start this process with. Do they start with force or do they start with persuasion? It also really depends on which one do you gravitate towards the most. If I force, do you just like conform and give me what I want? Or do I need to like persuade you into giving me what it is that I want? If you do have some standards, if you do have some boundaries and you say no and you start pushing back a little bit, now you're going to get either guilt or you're going to get abuse. And usually there's a combination of both of these things coming through. The guilt is making you feel bad for not giving them what it is that they want, for making you out to be the bad person, or maybe you're taking on the guilt because the answer was no. You're made to feel like you were wrong, selfish, self-centered, all about yourself, not thinking about the other person, when you don't realize that the seed of manipulation was planted in that bullying phase. And because you said no, now you're carrying unnecessary guilt. When the guilt doesn't work, before the real like abuse heavy stuff starts, you could have a person that kind of goes back to the appeal or goes into kind of like negotiating. A manipulator loves to play the tit for tat game. So if you do this, I'll do this. And of course we know that's not love, that's just conditional love and very unhealthy love. When all else fails, now you're going to start getting like the rage phase. And this is the last one. This is where they're going to start attacking you personally. So all the things that they knew about you in the beginning, where they didn't use those things against you to make you feel bad about yourself, right? Your insecurities, your fears, like all of that stuff. Now they're going to use it to actually hurt you because you didn't take the bait. They're going to bring up old issues. They're going to bring up situations that are probably bull-faced lies that actually never happened. They're going to create a scenario that makes you look like you are absolutely the problem, or that you're the reason why they feel what they feel, and they don't like that. In this phase, if you are codependent, if you are unhealthy, if you are unhealed, you are most likely going to either start going after this person, meaning you're going to try to convince them that what they're saying isn't fair and that you're really not this person. So you're going to over explain. You might even apologize. You might want to make this better. So maybe you start negotiating. Maybe you're like, okay, well, I'll give you a little bit of this. Like, so you're starting to do things to give them kind of what they want a little bit. And basically you're just opening the door to say, hey, that boundary that I set earlier means absolutely nothing. Now the door is open and I'm starting to give you a little tiny bit of what you want. They're learning, they're observing, they're watching. So now they learned that when I go there, she starts to like open up the door a little bit and give me just like a little bit of what I want. So then I'm going to try that again next time and see how much more she can give me. And I'm going to learn based on this experience, what did I do that really hurt the situation? And what did I do that was starting to actually get her to like conform? First things first, we're going to get off the cuckoo train. So I'm going to show you how to do this. If you're in a romantic relationship, the first thing I want you to do is stop fantasizing the type of relationship that you're in. We're not projecting anymore. We're not pretending like this person is the soulmate, the love of my life, all of these things. Love is one thing. Compatibility and healthiness is another thing. So you can love someone, but whether or not this person is healthy and you should actually be with this person is something totally different. Stop pretending like this person is not manipulative. I know some people get very uncomfortable with using the term, like the word abuse or emotional abuse or manipulation. No, I don't think this person's like this. No, they are. A lot of people are like this. Doesn't make them necessarily a horribly bad person, although I'm sure down in the comments you'd find some people that totally disagree with that. But I think a lot of people are just programmed and trained to be manipulative. They have learned how to get what they want by doing these things. That's their business. What we're talking about is their relationship with you and how their behavior affects you. First, we're going to decide whether or not this person should actually be in our life. And if you are in a romantic relationship, or it's a family member, or it's not a relationship that you're really at that tipping point of saying, you know what, Steph, you're right, I don't want this person in my life. I get it. This is a difficult question to ask where you're going to just like come up with the answer. Okay, Steph, I'm going to go get divorced right now. I get it, but we do have to start asking these questions and slowly start to get to the space where we can make this decision, because this person may be not right for you, and we have to start really dipping our toe in that reality. The next thing, it's going to be a loaded thing. It's not a simple, here we go, I'm just going to give this to you and we're going to do it beautifully. If you have to have someone in your life, you're going to have to start kind of spotting when you're in certain phases. You're going to have to start spotting what it is that this person does that either triggers you, gets you to feel guilty, starts to get you to conform when you have already set your boundary, or maybe we just need to learn boundaries whatsoever. First step with boundaries is, what do I think? How do I feel? What do I want? Should I be doing this? It's all about me. A boundary starts with me. It starts with my standard. What is that line? Where will I not go? What will I not do? You have to first know that before you can really do anything else. You have to also figure out, what is the thing that this person does that starts to hook you? Is it guilt? Is it that they become so unreasonable that you then become absolutely angry and erratic by their behavior? So they're triggering you. So you really have to learn what your triggers are in this relationship with this person. Now, like I said, that's a loaded question in and of itself. So if you would like to start working with me so we can figure out what those things are, I always link everything down below. Click the links today. You can start booking an individual session, or you can work with me kind of one-on-one for an extended period of time where you have access to me via email, via text throughout your time working with me, as well as getting access to some of my online courses, and you'll get a bundle of sessions. So all the information is linked down below, because I'm telling you, this stuff's not easy to do. Like, yes, watching the video will give you a lot of information. I know you guys send me so many messages and comments, and I thank you so much. When I get like the long email from someone just like thanking me, I mean, literally sometimes it almost like brings me to tears, because I can't believe that someone took the time to actually write an email, put a comment down there saying, hey, oh my God, thank you so much. I've watched your videos for years. This stuff has like really helped me. You've changed my life. I mean, some people, when they start going into, you have literally saved my life, changed my life in those ways. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, what? Well, first off, I didn't do any of that stuff. You actually didn't. But I know working on these things, this stuff is hard to do, because it's one thing to work on yourself by yourself, right? Set a goal, achieve it, all that stuff. But you're dealing with another human in front of you that's going to respond, going to react in a way that you have absolutely no idea. And so you have to learn how to hold on to yourself. You have to learn how to be able to go toe to toe with this person in the ring. And that's what I'm trying to teach you, amongst a bunch of other things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. Don't forget to check out our next video next week. Also, social, podcasts, courses. We're doing 20% off all of our online courses for the entire month of August. So take advantage of that. The code is Thrive20, and all of the links are down below, so you guys can really take advantage of that before we go into a new season. I don't know if I'm ready for fall. I'm going to be honest with you. I am a summer girl, tried and true. Like, I love the fall. It's my second favorite season, but your girl loves nothing more than just like wearing this right now in flip-flops and not putting on winter boots. But that's another story. I hope you guys are well, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.